perfect. Ah, but the pleasure is all mine, I assure you. He accepted a glass of champagne from a passing footman and turned to Miss Blake. Are you from London, Miss Blake?
Occasionally, but recently I have been living at my family's estate in Dorchester. After the wedding, I will be travelling on to London for the season.
With your parents? She shook her head.
No, I'm afraid my mother is recovering from the ague and did not wish to travel. I will be staying with Lady Patience's parents until my cousins Lord and Lady Montfort arrive in London and open their house. Lady Montfort will be acting as my chaperone.
I must be sure to respond to the invitations that pile up in my study. She grinned and took a sip of champagne.
You are so very popular, then.
Ah, so the lovely Miss Blake enjoys banter. No more popular than any other gentleman of the ton during the season.
I suppose that is true, since the marriage-minded mammas are out in full force once the season begins.
And we try like the devil to avoid them. Giles faked a shudder.
Miss Blake laughed softly. So, no marriage for you? No setting up your nursery?
'Twas way too soon to tell her he would love to set up a nursery with her. If he said something so outrageous, he would be rewarded with a well-deserved slap in the face after she decorated his clothing with her glass of champagne. He usually did not accept the many invitations that arrived at his London residence during the season, since most of them were events to lure unsuspecting gentlemen into marriage. But he would be sure to change that practice to sway Miss Blake to accept his attentions. Do you enjoy the theatre and museums, Miss Blake?
Most definitely. I read that the first systematic collection of Asante artifacts, including a pair of gold disc pendants and 3 gold beads, donated by Thomas Edward Bowditch, now appear in the museum, and I am anxious to view them.
Indeed.
To say he was surprised and impressed was an understatement.
The draw toward Lady Patience's cousin was strong, and much more than lust, which he didn't deny. But something about her countenance, her wit, and the intelligence he saw in her eyes captivated him. Yes, the attraction was powerful, resulting in a pull he'd never felt before. I hope to see a great deal of you this season, then, and possibly escort you to the museum. She gave him a nebulous smile, which was certainly proper considering they'd just met.
Perhaps we will run into each other.
Oh no, my dear Miss Blake. We will not just run into each other. Although he did not possess a title, as a handsome, wealthy son of an earl, he received enough attention from the daughters and their mammas on the marriage mart. His rakish ways, gleefully gossiped about, had not been enough to cause the mammas to keep their daughters away when he presented himself. If Miss Blake was everything he hoped for, he was confident the coming season would be quite an intriguing one. 2 other friends, Lord Hawkins, known as Hawk, and Lord Campbell, Cam as he was called, entered the room together and made a beeline for their small group. By the lines of fatigue on their faces, the 2 had no doubt spent the prior night enjoying the entertainments so close to the hearts of London bachelors. Giles would have ordinarily joined them, but since he'd been dealing with issues at his estate, which bordered the Abbey, he'd come directly from there to the wedding. Hawk slapped Alex on his back. So you finally decided to plague Lady Patience with your presence on a permanent basis. He grinned at Lady Patience. My sympathy, my lady. A butler arrived at the door to the drawing room to announce dinner. Since Alex was new to his title and not impressed with it, the group did not form the usual formal line to proceed to the dining room, with the highest title leading the group. Giles turned to her. May I escort you, Miss Blake? She hesitated for only a second.
Of course.
He took her half-empty glass from her hand and placed it on a tray, then extended his arm. She smelled of something sweet, but in no way cloying. Her small hand on his arm warmed the spot she touched. As her cousin's bridesmaid, Miss Blake sat next to the Lady Patience, while Giles was relegated several seats down, thankfully across from her though, so he could, at the very least, study her as the meal progressed.